Good day, everyone, afternoon or morning, depending on what part of the country you are in. Today is August 11th, 2016, and this is Mastermind call number 87. Great turnout today. We've got 3 people already in the queue. All of my partners are on the call, and I'll just go around the table real quick. Tim, anything you want to share with the group?
Not a thing. I want to make sure that we get to all their questions, and it's been a great summer. We finally got a little bit of rain here in Florida, so we're not drying up. And Chad, I think, got the other end of that. They've been drowning, so let's get those questions.
All right, and Chad, before we do that, because I know once we get into questions, we may not come back to you. You want to go over the new vastly improved mastery course that you're coming out with next week, correct?
Yeah, so you guys probably have seen the emails and Facebook post. If you haven't and you are interested in mastery, go look at Facebook or check your email. We're doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and it's the new version is also 3 sessions, just like the older version, but we're focusing more on really the logistics of probate and who the key players are. That was something that I ended up spending time on in the initial mastery, so we took a lot of focus off of the systems because of the technology we're going to be providing you guys. We're systemizing it all for you, and we're going to focus more on the kind of the ins and outs of the probate process and the key players and how to build a referral network outside of just getting the probate lead, how to get referral leads as well. So it's still $250. We've got there's several spots left in the class. We've got a pretty good class already. But if you're interested, you can see more. You can learn more about it at alltheleads.com under Education and Training, or click on the Facebook post or the email that you got and sign up. And we'll see you on Monday.
Excellent. And if I could just summarize, I think maybe I undersell the mastery sometimes because there's nothing there that you absolutely need to know to go out and take listings. Initially, everything that you need is included in our system, and because you're essentially dealing with motivated absentee owners. Now, having said that, the depth of knowledge that Chad goes over in this course, I think when you get out of this course, you could effectively and intelligently communicate with an attorney about probate. We've had attorneys comment that our custom website, that they learned a thing or two from it. And kind of an interesting observation, my partners and I, when we last got together, we looked at our numbers, and a year after we started Mastery, the agents that complete this are twice as likely to still be using this niche as the ones that don't. So there is, although it's not essential to get started, it really is. If you've been with us for any length of time and you haven't taken Mastery, it's going to really increase your knowledge, and I think it's going to increase your results enough that it's well worth the time and small investment. So just wanted to give that plug for you, Chad. Hopefully I don't think you'll have any trouble filling the class, but it starts next week, and you said the deadline for sign up is today or tomorrow?
I set the deadline for tomorrow at 5, so you have between now and then.
Okay. Perfect. And Tom, I know you're on. Our customer service person, Tom, is on the line. Tom, anything you want to share with the group?
I just have a quick question for Chad. Those sessions run, between 60 and 90 minutes each session?
Yeah, so Monday and Wednesday are around 60 minutes. And then on Friday, we do the sales and the sales session. And there's an extra 30 minutes on it because I take you from the very initial conversation all the way through to my signed listing agreement and all the tricks that I use in my listing appointments. So and the game of never asking for a listing. So it's kind of a 30-second bonus on the end, or 30-minute bonus. So we spent an hour and a half for that one.
Okay, I just had a customer asking support today, so I appreciate that. Jim, I don't have anything, but just to remind everybody, if you need anything, we're here to help. Just send us an email at support@alltheleads.com.
Perfect. And Chad, in case anybody doesn't know, when you finish this course, you are a certified probate expert. You get a plaque you can put up on your wall and an extra designation you can put on your business card. So if that'll puts anybody over the top, I just wanted to throw that in. And we have 3 people in the queue, so let's turn it loose. And we've got room, guys, for at least 3 or 4 more. So please don't be shy. Hit *6 and hit 1 if you would like to participate. And we're going to start off with phone number ending in 3199. You're up.
Yeah, Jim, it's Jim Gilbert down here in Pasco County, Florida.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to mention this. I'm sure everybody has days where everything is not just going just right, but I always try to make it a point of getting on the call on Thursday, because it usually ends up pepping me up, finding out what everybody else is doing and maybe learning something new. So that's my spiel for today.
Oh, thank you, Jim. I know for the short amount of time you've been with us too, you've taken decisive action and you're getting results. I think you said to me a couple of calls ago it was a little harder than you thought it would be, but it's still better than almost any other lead source that you're working. So, and you're right. It could be there's good days and bad, and it seems to run in streaks. So, I appreciate that. Yeah, we always encourage agents to keep coming back to these calls. Too often, agents like yourself, Jim, when they're brand new, they're on the call. They get a little bit of success, they're too busy, and they don't come back. So we appreciate it that you're here every week and you're always willing to contribute. So thank you for that, Jim.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have phone number ending in 6452. You're up.
Thank you for taking my call. And, yeah, I agree. These calls are pretty good. I have this is a niche that my partner and I are going after heavily, and we've done other calls and masterminds, and this gives you the real meat and potatoes. So thank you very much for that. I have two questions. One is I already took the mastery, and it was great, but since this has changed a little bit, is there any kind of discount you give if we take it again?
Oh, I forgot to mention that. So for anybody who's done mastery with me before, no charge. Just send me an email, Chad at all the leads, and just remind me which mastery class you took, and I'll register you for it. So you're welcome to join us.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. My question is
100% discount enough?
Yeah, 100% is great. I can always go for that. That's wonderful.
Okay,
thank
good.
you.
And we'll actually, I know of at least 3 other people who took mastery, maybe a year ago, that are going to be on the call, and anything that you guys know, I think you can bring a lot to that too. And I prefer it to be an interactive training. So please speak up on anything you've learned.
Well, I learned that you have to be patient, because I was getting frustrated, and we were doing this, and we were doing the letters, and we were dropping the voicemails, and then finally we got two deals, but so one's a listing, and then this other is the one I'm calling about. It's a property that is the executor, and I've asked the question. She has the control. She's the executor. There's no other decision makers. There's the 2 brothers, but they're not making the decision. She's not local. Her brother passed away in the house. The house is basically, I've had my contractor go through. It has to be torn down to the studs, treated because of severe mold, because the roof was absolutely shot, and he basically just lived there with water coming through. The problem is that she will not do a listing. What she will allow me to do is bring in an offer and do what I'm doing is a 4% commission on the front end, and then my investor will allow me to sell it once he fixes it at 6%. But she just, and I have a great rapport with her, but she just won't do a listing. She just keeps telling me, bring me people, and I'm just frustrated. I mean, I just don't know. I don't, not having any success with her. I'm telling her that she'd probably get a better deal if we got it on the market, getting the competition.
Yeah, so have you asked her why she doesn't want to list it?
I have, and she just says she doesn't want to commit to one. She just doesn't want to commit to well, first off, she's terrified about the mold. She's absolutely terrified that she doesn't want to have people going through the property. She's afraid that she's going to be she's going to be liable for if something goes wrong, if someone gets sick. It is bad. It's the worst house I've ever seen. I've been doing this for 20-some years, since 1990. It's literally the worst. I hate going in the house because you feel like you're getting sick while you're in there.
So
it's that bad.
what's your name?
My name is Mike.
Hey, you want to role play it, Mike? I've got some things that I think might help you. That's probably the best way I can help.
That would be wonderful, yes. I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, so I'm Mike, you're the seller. Okay, so everything sounds great. Listen, we've seen houses like this before. Mold is nothing new to us. The first step would really be, us just going ahead and getting it on the market, because I feel like it's in your best interest to get that market exposure. And so what that means is we'll just do a simple listing agreement, and, we can do whatever term you're comfortable with. What do you think? Is 6 months okay with you?
I don't feel comfortable doing that right now. Bring your investor or whoever bring your buyer, and we'll do a one-party agreement.
Okay. Well, listen, I know I always like to understand where my clients are coming from. So if you could help me understand, is it a trust thing with me, or do you just not want the market exposure? Because there's a 2/3 chance that one of my peers, another agent, will actually bring us a buyer. So we're going to, instead of exposing your property to just my buyers or just one other agent's buyers, we're going to market to over 3,000 agents, and there's a 2/3 chance that we're going to find the buyer outside of my database. So that's why I say I think it's in your best interest that we do list it, because we can generate more interest, which will drive the price even higher. And honestly, something I haven't mentioned is the liability side of this. I know you told me you're worried about the mold. And as a real estate professional, we have ways of dealing with that and disclaimers, and we can absorb that liability, at least some of that liability on your behalf, and make sure that we control how the showings are done and that agents sign disclosures and things. So, it's not like we're just asking to take something from you. You're getting a whole lot by actually having a listing agreement and having a professional work directly for you. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, but I don't understand how you're going to protect me. I really don't want people going in the property.
Okay. Well, if we can't show it, we probably can't sell it, because eventually eventually a buyer has to see what they're buying. So are you saying that we'll never be able to show the property, or you don't want droves of people, you don't want to do an open house?
I just don't want a lot of people going through the house. It's not safe. There's, mold, asbestos. It's just not in good shape. And I don't want to be, I just don't want a lot of people going through the house.
Let me ask you if this would be acceptable to you. If the home were on MLS and then the private remarks where only real estate agents and brokers can see said, please check documents and sign mold disclosure prior to showing. And in order for someone to show the home, I have to have a fully signed mold disclosure protecting both my brokerage and you. And basically we're vetting out the buyers, making sure that we just don't have tire kickers. We have qualified people going in that know the risks. And something else I'll say is, and I haven't even told you this, but every listing agreement that I sign you can cancel any time, because I learned a long time ago that, I don't want to do business with people who don't want to do business with me. And if you ever get to that point where you feel like you don't want the property to be listed anymore, we write the clause in. All you have to do is send me an email and it's off the market. So if we could structure it that way, are you comfortable going forward, getting that extra market exposure, knowing that you're protected and you've got me working on your side 100% instead of working against you by representing the buyer? I think I could be comfortable with that. Yeah. Okay.
That's pretty doggone.
So I wanted to role play that because you've got a recording of this now, and when we post it on Facebook, you can go back and listen.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic.
Awesome. All right, Mike. Great. We got 2 other people in the queue. Anything else?
No, that was it. Thank you so much.
All right. No, you're very welcome. Great job, Chad. All right. Phone number ending in 3230. You're up.
Well, really, I guess you really only have one more person in the queue. I just put it on. I thought that's what we were supposed to do, but I don't really have a question. I'm brand new to this and just really here to listen.
Okay. Well, thank you.
No. He's in the hot seat. What are you most excited about?
Chad,
what are you most excited about getting into probate?
Getting more listings.
What are you most scared about getting into this new niche?
getting in over my head where questions come up about probate that I have no idea.
All right, so I'll give you two things. One, go to alltheleads.com and go to FAQ, probate FAQ, and you will know more than 99% of agents when you finish reading that page. If you want to take that a step further, go sign up for Mastery. We're going to spend about an hour just talking about what probate is, how it works, who the key players are, how to talk to them, what the terminology is, and all that. And the more knowledge you have in that area, the more confidence you'll have and the better service you'll provide. So at a minimum, go read those FAQs.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for not intensely participating, but we appreciate you being here. All right, we got another person. We got two more in the queue. That's great. Phone number ending in 0618. You're up.
Hey, this is Jenny calling from Florida.
Hey, Jenny.
Okay, just a couple of things. I wanted to say that I started looking back at the responses I'd gotten, and the calls I did get, or the callbacks I did get were, well, actually a couple of them were people that I hadn't even called. When I had been getting my leads from someplace else, and but had never gotten anything from them. So when I signed up with you guys, I went ahead and used the letters to this old batch of people, and they're from, like late 2015. I think I started with you guys in like January or February later. So so when I mailed them, it had already been a few months, and I think one of the things is that I had hand addressed that first batch of mailers. I hand wrote, and the couple of calls, I got a couple of calls, and those were from people that were in the early batch. And then after that, what I tried to do is to, I had this gal that would, I printed out labels, and I had her stuff the envelopes and stuff like that to try to save me some time. And I just don't think I got the response from the printed labels as I got from the handwriting. That's one thing. The other thing is that I got one of the leads was of the old leads that called me, and it had been probably 6 months since I originally got her name. So when I went there, it's really important to like Chad says, to really sort of listen and read between the lines. And what happened is she had a house in a nice neighborhood, a very popular neighborhood, the best school district in the county practically. And she could not, it needed some things, but it could not be, it needed a new roof. So an owner-occupant would have loved to have it, but you couldn't finance it because it needed a new roof. So, and she did not have any cash at all to fix the roof. Plus, she didn't have the cash to move out. Like if an owner-occupant bought it and then expected to move in, she couldn't move out for at least 30 days because she needed the cash from closing to find a new place. So anyway, so what I did was, and I got a couple of investors to go there and take a look at it and give a price. And she had already kind of told me where she needed to be and told me all this stuff. Well, I had somebody that came in. She wanted to be like above. She had gotten some offers. She wanted to be above 200. And so this other gal came in, an investor, and she offered like 170 or something like that, but told her she could stay there for 6 months. Well, that wasn't the most important thing to her. She did need to stay there, but not for 6 months. She needed a lot, as much money as possible too. So I got another guy to offer her 210, and she was able to stay in the house for 30 days. So then it come to find out it does not need a new roof.
That's great. Yeah.
So he bought it for 210. He's in there fixing it right now. He's going to probably end up selling it for $325 or $350.
And
wow.
did you double in that one? Did you end up listing that, or just representing?
No, I'm going to do it just on the when the investor is done with it.
Okay,
I'm listing it for him.
You didn't take a commission at all. You just connected the buyer and seller.
No, she would have bailed at that point. She needed every nickel.
Okay. Well, that was a good call.
But there was a mortgage on the property. There was a mortgage on the property. So after everything, she was going to only end up with enough to buy a mobile home.
Yeah.
Comment, awesome job. Go ahead, Chad, and then I had one thing I wanted to add. Go ahead.
I was just going to say thanks so much for sharing. I mean, that there's a gentleman in Texas who just started. He's just sent his first mail last week, and he's probably on this call. We had a similar conversation yesterday, and that's a really good demonstration of taking the time, not talking about yourself, and being willing to let go of the listing, to know that you're representing her best interest, and it'll come back to you on the next sale, right? Your guy's going to repay you, but you didn't. And so you did. I mean, that was perfect. You looked at different options and brought more than one investor. The other thing that you could have done there, if you did want to list the property, if it wouldn't have worked with that second buyer, you could have found a roofing contractor or a general contractor that would have floated the invoice, that would have carried that invoice through closing. And you could have put during negotiation, you could have negotiated a longer closing timeline. So once it was under contract and the inspection was done, then the roofer would go in and replace the roof, and he would invoice the closing attorney, and then he would be paid directly off the settlement statement. So, but you didn't have to do that because you got her number, and you solved all of her problems because you understood what they were. So great job, and thanks for sharing. That's
exactly what I was going to say. I know we have it's not easy to find, but it's not that hard either. We've heard a half a dozen times that agents have found contractors that are willing to finance repairs until it closes, and those are a little harder to find. But if you can have that in your arsenal, your bag of tricks, wow, that's they would never list with anybody else if you were able to provide that, and you're really providing a service. But awesome job, thank you. That's a great,
I have one more.
Great story. Okay, go ahead.
One more.
Please.
Okay. All right. This is like sort of the opposite. This gal called me. She lived in Ohio. The house is in Florida. She was interviewing agents. I met the next one coming in on my way out. So we went over everything, and I talked to her about. Anyway, let me bottom line it and just say that had she done nothing, because it had the pink and blue kind of shiny vinyl wallpaper plus with the wallpaper border.
1975 decorating, it sounds like.
Maybe like 85.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
All right.
So it had things like that, but it really had good bones, and in the main living area it was open, and it had vaulted ceilings in that main area, et cetera. So long story short, basically, I walked her down the street with me and showed her some of the other stuff that was available for sale in the same neighborhood that was not selling, and basically if she had done nothing and just sold it the way that it was, she would have been lucky to get 160, 165 would have been like a home run. But I made some suggestions. She made the changes. She removed the wallpaper. She painted it a neutral color. She went above and beyond. She went a step beyond. She added stainless steel appliance. Let's see, 200.
Awesome. And what you're illustrating there is you give, and this is the essence of everything that we recommend, from your conversation to your letter. You give the seller as many options as possible, because you gave her that option and she went with the one that made the most sense. You will have errors that'll just say, forget it, I don't have the time or the effort, I'd rather sell for less, believe it or not. But the point is you give them options and you let them make the decision. One of my original mentors years ago told me people love to buy, but they hate to be sold. And they like to have options. They don't like to be told what to do, and that's exactly what you did there. And she chose the option that got her the most money, where another client might just choose the one that gets it over with quicker. So great. I really thank you so much. We have one more person in the queue, and I want to get to them, but those are two great stories. Thank you for sharing.
Before we go, Jim, so Jenny, we didn't address your very first question, and don't ever send mail with labels again, because you may as well just put the money in the trash. I have tested and tested and tested. The reason we have a very specific mail piece is because it works. And any time that we've tried to cut corners, change the envelope, put labels, and do that stuff, it just ended up costing us money. So I strongly encourage you, if you're going to do direct mail, follow us and use what works, whether you're using us or not. And if you look at the opportunity cost and the time cost of doing your own mail, I think you'll find that $1.50 a letter is actually really, really cheap. Most mail houses are $3-4 a piece on small batch mailers like this.
Yeah.
So, but just look at it and say, okay, it cost me $4.50 to reach each one, and I don't have to touch it. And and we can literally put it on autopilot, so the second your leads come, your mail goes, and you don't have to think about it.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Jenny.
Lastly,
Go ahead.
Go get a testimonial from that lady that you made $40,000 for.
I did.
Yes. And put it on your future letters. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Good point.
Okay, done.
All right. No, thank you, Jenny. I just want to make sure we get to the last person in the queue. We got just enough time. Thank you so much for sharing. All right. You are we saved I don't know if we saved the best for last, but we saved you for last. Phone number ending in 5521.
This is Scott from Michigan. I talked to Chad just a couple of weeks ago. I'm brand new to the system, and I have two quick questions. Like I'm sure most of us on this call, being a realtor, we've got too many irons in the fire and too many things to do. What would be the fast track to push through and jump into the program as far as where should I start to get going the quickest on the training? And number two, I'm taking on 2 counties here in my area, but they're brand new to you guys, and I was just reaching out to Chad or to the team to find out, do we have any update on when we're going to be able to pull that data and get all of that part of it started? Yeah.
So, Jim, just so you know, maybe it is the best because we've got a best-selling real estate author on the line. Is that right?
That's our questioner? Is a best-selling author?
Yeah, Scott.
Awesome.
Wrote his first best-selling book. So, anyway, Scott, knowing you, I think the way you look at your business, the best thing you could do would be go through Mastery with us next week. Just because we do such a deep dive, and you'll be able to train your team. You'll have the recordings to use to train your entire team. So you are in a perfect position to take a ton of value from that, and it's $150. I mean, it's the cost of one mailer. So that would be the best thing you can do. If you want to do something today, the best thing you could do is really go through all the fast track videos in the subscriber resources area and listen to some of these, you and your team listen to some of these past calls, both the role play calls and the mastermind calls that are archived in all the Leads Mastermind Facebook group. But that's something you can do between now and Monday. But I'd love to have you in that class because I know you'll get a ton out of it because I know that you have invested in that type of education before.
Yeah, it does sound good. Yes.
The second question was on real estate info with the probate. Was that right?
Yeah, he was looking for a delivery date. So what he's referring to, when you're the first subscriber we've had in the county, it sometimes takes a bit longer to get our researchers out there, get the data back. We do quality control, add good phone numbers. So we usually say about 2 weeks. Has it been 2 weeks already, Scott, or longer?
I want to say it's close to that. A week, certainly a week, but we're getting close to 2 weeks, yes.
Okay. So if it's not there at the 2 week mark, then just send an email to support, but it should be coming. Tom, my customer service guy, said allowed 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the county. So thank you, Tom. And Scott, what counties? Tom's going to check on it for you. What counties are you, or what part of the country are you in?
It's in West Michigan. So I've got Kalamazoo, that starts with a K, and Calhoun, that starts with a C. So it's Kalamazoo, basically in Battle Creek.
I wasn't afraid to ask that because I know you're the only one in either county, so we're safe there. I don't think you have any competition on this call. We don't have too many people from Michigan. Tom will check on that, and Tim will check on it too, and we'll get back to you. But it should be there soon. It should be there in the next week or so at the most.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I'm excited, guys. Looking forward to this. I love the whole system, the professionalism, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing this right.
Amen. And we want an autographed copy of your book, please, next time we get a chance. Please.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Guys, guys, this is a great call. Thank you so much. Thanks to Jim and Mike and Jenny and Scott, and I hope I didn't miss anyone. Thank you so much to everybody actually that took the time to be here, and in particular to those that were willing to participate. And I always like to end these calls by challenging you. Take one thought, one idea, one thing that inspired you on this call, and go out and put it into action next week, and come back next Thursday and share your results with us. In the meantime, you know how to find us, support@alltheleads.com. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for being here. We will talk to you next Thursday. Make it a great week.